that on a nice clear day. This is the same guy that buzzed me when I came out of the Starbucks. I don't think I've seen this little guy before.
With the program, they're annihilated. They usually have their heads cut off. They have some regular births. Most of them now are clones. This is the first time I got what they do. We're going to keep these humans as slaves, and when we get tired of them, we're going to hang them and eat them. That was the first time I really got it, what this eating. This wasn't just about energy or sucking energy. This was about literally chopping them to pieces and eating them. They're all like this.
He's just as vicious and two-faced as
Yeah,
most of them.
they all are like this. This is basically their MO. And so when he sees the owl, which is the #1 metaphor for this reptilian group, he calls it the higher wisdom of the mind. When he sees snake and serpent as snake being deceptive, serpent being healing. I see it all as talking about these reptilians. He does not get into the meat-eating aspect of it on the other side, although he does talk about them consuming flesh and blood during their satanic rituals. But that's more of a ritualistic thing. The people on the other side of their daily fare, they have restaurants on the other side that serve human meat. They're shapeshifters. I mean, whatever you think or whatever you're looking for, that's what you'll get.
Now let's talk about the reptilian history with Earth humans. You say the reptilian race from Orion has been here for thousands of years and maybe longer, at first presenting themselves as the gods and then using their technology and genetic know-how to manipulate the human race for their own ends. That, it seems, involves using the human being as a food source, an energy source, a plaything, a slave, and a marketable item. So initially you say that, as well, you mentioned the reptilians are physical beings and do have physical bodies, but these, it appears, are kept in a storage place once they arrive here, while they encase themselves in a physical human form to operate behind the scenes. They have mastery over the fourth dimension, which for us is the world of dreams and astral travel.
That he saw them coming in from the homeworld, that they would have on these sort of almost like latex costume faces. And they would use these while they're in transport, I guess not to get anybody's attention. They have physical bodies, which they may keep on when they're underground or in these bases, because people have said they've seen reptilians. That's when they're in the physical. But they found that if they can take off, get out, step out of their physical body, step into a human physical body, they can operate here behind the scenes, controlling and manipulating without any problem. So that's really how they do it. Times that there was an inhabited planet in the Sirius system, and there are Syrians here who are also in this fight, but they said that is fouled and uninhabitable. That the aliens or the owl fouled that planet. Supposedly, I've heard it was beautiful. It was, one woman called it my Eden. You took away my Eden. We as a species, the human race, was evolving on this beautiful planet just wonderfully, but naive enough to when these gods came, so-called, and they wowed everybody with their technologies, and then they started this whole thing. So, every culture has its gods and goddesses, the Greek gods and all these different Sumerians, and I think, but it was after the last passing of the planet X with the great flood stories that are all over, that's when they decided not to come back in their own, or in a physical form. That was when the decision was made to come and be cloaked within human beings, so that, because all of a sudden there are no gods. Now all of a sudden we're sort of left on our own, but we're not. That's when they decided to use the cloaking of humans. I heard it referred to as the Martian net, so I think that this extends all the way to Mars, and I know that they use wormholes and portals in order to transport body parts and what have you from energy points here, probably portals or energy centers, which are there connected to wormholes. They use those to transport to Mars and to Orion. that is the one place that they're most vulnerable, because they're not real, they're sort of outside of the net in a way. So they were furious when I heard that. Well, we never turn around to see who's creating the mess, and we just keep fighting each other. Well, they regularly they're parasitic, as well as eating astral flesh and sometimes physical flesh. They are parasitic, so they ingest energy through, while people are sleeping or meditating or in a restful state. If you feel a vibration, like in a certain body part or on your face, just like a light tingly, then somebody's sucking your energy. You can feel it in different areas. Usually it's around a chakra or a major organ, because that's where most of the energy is housed. And so they'll be feeding on you. And I've heard them talk about, waiting for somebody to go to sleep so they'll feed on them. The chemtrails, from what I understand, again, it's hard for me to get real technical information from reverse speaking, because I'm not that good at it. The biological organisms are for seeding people. They want to get as many people seeded as possible before they leave. So they're dropping these biological, it's seeds of their own kind. They're underground, they have huge bases there.
And what else do they have going on Mars?
Well, that's where they take a lot of the people that die, and that's where they kill them again. And they have huge meat lockers there. And that's where the ship will stop on its way out to pick up more meat. These animals, these lizards have just voracious appetites. Voracious. They use a lot of meat. They wait. They told me you make war, we plan the wars, you fight, and we dine. And I have a reversal that says in World War II, when Bush was talking to the war vets, he says, we ate so many then we hiccuped. This is why we have war. Strictly, well, there's different reasons. They can make money and lose control, but it's mainly to eat. It's their survival. It's for their survival. We are it for them. They have no life without us. That's why they're so terrified of what's coming. Because everything that they gain and everything that they do, we're their drug, their food, their pleasure, their energy. They have nothing without the humans. So screwing around with us is their life. The humans, most of the humans are of no threat to them. The humans, for the most part, they see as retarded, and they just see them as food.